It is the perfect day to be filming a video like this. It's a sleepy Sunday afternoon. Both the cats are curled up and listening to the rain on the cat tree over by the window. And it's dark and rainy and wet and it's one of those days that just forces you inside. So I've put on my fluffiest sweater and my little leg warmers, and I am just a ball of cozy comfort. And we're gonna do like one of my favorite activities, which is just sitting and talking about knitting patterns. The theme for this roundup is 12 different knitting patterns that all have a central theme around Christmas or the holiday season and winter. Just something that I look at and I think, yes, I want to make that and wear that or use it in December. Some people are gonna look at some of these patterns and be like, that's not really Christmassy at all. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? Start your own YouTube channel. That's so aggressive. Sweet Home Sweater, and I will not be saying anyone's name right. Just know that, and I feel awful. This absolutely stunning design is by Ekaterina Vorobieva, and it just makes me happy. I saw this pattern a while ago. I think it came out about 2 years ago. And the first time I saw it, I just remember feeling like comfort. This pattern would be excellent for anybody that really wants to just dip their toes into the world of colorwork because it's such a short portion of the sweater that's actually done in colorwork. So often when you see circular yoke sweaters, traditionally a lot of them are just colorwork along the yoke, and then the body won't have any sort of colorwork on it. But this one is even more minimalistic. The motif along the yoke is little houses, and there are 3 different house motifs, so you can switch up which ones you want to use. I personally would use all 3. I think the sample sweater, and this is going to be the case for a lot of the sweaters I pop up, the sample sweater is my favorite version. Northern Augustine's number 4 by Anne-Sophie Velling. I feel like this is the kind of sweater that doesn't really read as Christmassy when you first see it, but for me, I don't know why. I saw it a few weeks ago, and when I saw it, I was like, I need to put this in the Christmas knitting pattern roundup video because it gives me that vibe. It's the red bows. It's such a beautiful pattern. If you were to make this, because it's done in circular yoke stranded color work, a warning I would give is to be extra careful about your tension. You have to make sure not to pull the yarn when you're doing stranded color work, because then you get this bunching effect where it just looks like huge little ripples on your sweater instead of laying very flat and nicely. Knitting is so impossible. Like, how do you deal with wanting to make everything? How do people cope with that? Because sometimes I just get so sad that it's not possible to make everything because I want this. I want it so bad. Oh my gosh. I would definitely do it in the same colors. I'm sorry to be boring, but it's true. This designer actually does have a like Christmas sweater pattern. I think it's like Northern Augustine's number 6, and it is super cute, but for some reason I'm just really digging the simplicity of the bow one. I find the stark contrast with the white and the bright red to be like so gripping visually. Am I being too dramatic about these? Maybe I am, but this is how I feel, so I should just be honest. The Festive Yoke Pullover by Skein Deer Knits. If you are unfamiliar, Skein Deer has a YouTube channel and is a very, very talented designer. I think there are exceptional Scandinavian, Norwegian, especially influence within her designs that you can really see come through, and it leans very traditional but timeless simultaneously. Stunning, absolutely stunning. And this pattern is no exception. So this one actually has 20 different charts, which is awesome. I love that when you're doing a circular yoke color work, having lots of options, especially like for holiday knits. So this one is so fun. I've seen a bunch of different versions where people just do the color work around the yoke, but I love seeing the versions where it's throughout the entire sweater. I think I would definitely take the opportunity to do that. This would be such a good all over colorwork sweater, especially because it's only done in 2 colors, very manageable. And I love the personalization behind getting to choose which charts you decide to use for this. If I were to make this myself, I would go with like a warm, like medium leather chair brown. and use that as the background color and having the contrast color be a white or an off-white. And something I can't decide about with this pattern is if I want to do it more fitted, like I think the design is intended to be, or if I would go more oversized on this. I think both would be really interesting, but for some reason I'm kind of digging the idea of doing a more fitted sweater and using it as the like a really cute layering piece. I'm just getting lost looking at this. Like there's so much to look at visually, but it works. Like it's not overwhelming visually. The Holly Sweater by Pernille Larsen. I almost didn't include this because I would have thought that everyone would have seen this sweater because I thought it went somewhat like knitting viral, but maybe some people haven't seen it, so that's why I'm putting it in here. This is again that more minimalistic approach, very simple, and the result is really striking. I love that it's holly, the motif, and I love that the actual like berries on the holly is done using baubles so that it has like that dimension to it. I think I'm especially drawn to this because in the area I live in, there are holly bushes and trees everywhere. It's really amazing. I was worried when I moved from Minnesota to the Pacific Northwest that I would really miss having like deep snow every holiday season and that it wouldn't feel like Christmas without it being a white Christmas. And so I was like really happily surprised on my first Christmas here that there was holly everywhere, and it started getting these bright red berries around the holiday season, and it just felt so Christmassy to me, and it gave me that warm fuzzy Christmas feeling. So I didn't really need it to be a white Christmas because there's holly everywhere, so it feels like nature is just decorating itself. And that's one of the reasons I would really love to make this, is because I feel like it would really remind me of the area where I live and that feeling around the holiday season that I get. And I love going on rainy walks, so it would just really remind me of that. Staghead Pullover by Nora Goggin. I think the stag motif leans kind of Christmassy to me. It's at the very least, it's wintry, but it needs to be on this list because it's striking. This takes creativity to like the next level. I love seeing a designer use cabling motifs or lace techniques and using it to create an overall motif. When I'm doing these holiday videos, usually it involves a lot of colorwork projects. So when I saw this, I was like, yes, this needs to be in a video. It absolutely needs to be in a video. This is one of those sweaters where I would want someone so desperately out in the real world to ask me about my sweater, because I would just want to brag so hard. How do you come up with that? How do you even go about grading something like that? It's so beautiful. Looking through the projects on this one was really fun because a lot of people took that design and applied it to doing a blanket or a pillow. I've seen some sweaters, some vests, so there are definitely lots of different applications. It's amazing. We need more of this. We need more designs where someone uses cabling to create a image or design. I'm not going to say this name right. I'm going to try, but I'm not. I'm so sorry. I think it's Icelandic. The Christian sweater, in English translated the Holly sweater. I love that you can have two sweaters done in the round stockinette stitch using holly as a colorwork motif, using stranded colorwork technique, and having them both look very different. That is awesome. For some reason with this one, I'm way more interested in doing unique color options. So there are a couple different versions that people have done that I absolutely adore. There's one that's just amazing. It is sort of a light cool toned green with what I think is like a darker green or maybe like a greenish brown and white holly berries on it. I would never think to do that. Green on green. And doing, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I think I need to explore that a little bit. Doing like a base color and a contrast color as the same color, but just a different shade. I'm sure this is something that everyone else in the world has thought about but me, but it's just occurring to me that that would be really cool. Caribou Crossing by the Petite Knitter. Is it even a pattern roundup video if I do not include something by the Petite Knitter? I feel a little bad of like, I should throw in some other designers, but maybe she should just stop being so talented and then maybe I wouldn't include her. It's like same with Skein Deer. I've been including in a lot of these videos. Like some designers, I can't help it. I just need everyone to see all of their patterns because they're so perfect. The Caribou Crossing has such a weird and specific connection to me. So where I grew up in Minnesota, there is a coffee place called Caribou Coffee that I miss dearly. I'm very sad. They do not have them on the West Coast. And it's really sad because it's a coffee shop. It's a chain coffee shop. It's way better than Starbucks. I'm sorry, but it is. Because it has all like natural wood interior. It's a Midwestern staple and it totally reminds me of home. And I feel like I need to make this and fly to Minnesota and go to a Caribou Coffee while wearing this sweater. And I would just feel so good. In one of the photos, she styled it with these like brown corduroy overalls, I think they are, and it looks so cute with that. If I were to do this one myself, I think I would do it pretty cropped and have it be not fitted, not oversized, somewhere in between, like just a teensy bit more fitted than the sample photo shows, I think, for me, because I would love to wear this as a layering piece and wear it with other items as well. I think for this pattern, I would also be really into doing like the inverted colors, so doing that like desaturated like medium to light tone brown as the base color and then doing white as like the contrast color. I think that could also be really cute. The 2020 Advent Socks by Natalie Sheldon. This designer does Advent socks, I think, every year and does a specific like Christmassy sock pattern, and you should absolutely check out her other designs. They're all like so beautiful and fun, but these are my favorite and I've been thinking about these for years. There have been several different versions of these socks that people have done, and my favorite hands down is the sample version. I love the night and day and the mismatched socks. I would love to see people doing colorwork socks but inverting the colors so that they have mismatched socks that totally match. I think that's so cute. It's always so cute. But the night and day, I just need to look at it. It's so pretty. I've been wanting to make these socks for like 4 years now, and I think the main thing holding me back is the amount of colors that I would need, and so I think I would need to stock up on a bunch of mini skeins. So I don't know, maybe that could be a fun little Christmas present to myself this year or maybe next year. Now we are moving out of the wearables and we're going into the decor or household items. So I have 2 stocking patterns that I want to share that are both very different vibes, and I love them both. So the first one is the Holiday Doodle Stocking by Jamie Lomax. That seems like a fake name. That seems like a TV name. Lomax. Sorry, Jamie. Your name sounds very real. Similar to the skein deer pattern I mentioned earlier, this pattern has the mix and match motifs where they have a bunch of different little charts available and you can pick which charts you want to use and create your own little colorwork stocking. And once again, that idea is always so freaking fun for everybody, and it adds a level of personalization to these where it feels more you when you're done with it. I like that the vibe of this design is also really dependent on the color scheme that you go with, because some of them look very traditional and have that like traditional Scandinavian Fair Isle colorwork thing going on, and some look very, very modern and it's all about color choice. My legs hurt from sitting cross-legged for so long, which just means that I've been talking for way too long. Winter Village Stocking by Michelle Woodford. This pattern is done mostly with intarsia and it looks dope. Isn't it so cute? It's like classic vintage. Am I thinking like 50s or 60s? Maybe even earlier than that. It's a statement and I love it. Not only would I love to make the stockings for this, I would also like to take the intarsia chart and use it to make like a Christmas sweater vest. Could you imagine? Can you believe this has no projects on Ravelry? Why? Come on, people. Come on. This is adorable. I know it has some projects on Etsy, but people, we need to all consider our values here, because this pattern is freaking dope. Why are none of us making it? I don't know. You tell me. Don't ask me the same question because that's not fair. I'm busy. I got a lot of projects going on. I will eventually make this though. It's so fun. It really reminds me of the movie White Christmas. The Stella Quilt Cushion. This was my first knit of the holiday season. I have a whole video dedicated to me making this if you want to watch that. I absolutely love it. I love the way that it turned out. At the point of recording this, I'm actually not done with it, so I really can't say anything more about the process of making it. I would love to tell you like, oh, it was super easy. I've just finished the front panel at this point, and it was actually much easier than I thought it was going to be. I was really curious to see how that technique would work up, and I really like that. Laura Penrose is an exceptionally talented designer, and she recently came out with an extension pack. Well, it's been several months, I guess, at this point, for this, and I think the Stella Quilt Blankets. Yeah, I think the extension pack applies to those, and it just offers up different motif options that give like that quilty vibe. So the version that I am making or have made, depending on how you choose to perceive time. What was I talking about? What was I literally just talking about? No idea. I don't think that this pattern is like inherently like Christmassy or wintry, but I make the rules, so it's on the list. because it can be Christmassy and wintry. And I think it's a really good little like Christmas gift to yourself or a holiday project because it's something that can be knit up somewhat quickly. And it's a nice little like working your way through it over the course of December type of project. Okay, and finally, the Tiny Tree Socks by Summer Lee. Aren't they cute? Aren't they so cute? Oh my gosh, I want them all. You can't just make one. You have to make like 20. That's the rule that I've decided to make for this one. They're so adorable. They're so cute. Ooh, and they're currently on sale. Something to think about. Oh, this one's actually free. I think it would be really adorable for someone that makes like a lot of socks to use your leftover scrap yarn from making each pair of socks to make a miniature version of it. I want to make these and I want to make them as little keychains so that you have like a pair of socks, make 2 of them and put it on a little keychain. Is that not the cutest thing ever? And I do like that these aren't just impossibly small. Like you could size down your needle if you wanted to make it just impossibly small, but they appear to be like about 3 or 4 inches in length. And so I think that's a pretty doable size. If they were like 1.5 inches, I would be like, no, that is too small for my tiny little hands to manage. So that is it for the list of the 12 patterns, but I always like to do an honorable mentions section because that's just fun for me. So we have 2 honorable mentions this time. So the first one is a Knitting for Olive pattern. It's called the Snow Sweater. And the reason this is not on the main list is I have a rule. The main list has to be something that I would make for myself. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm lying to people if I put up patterns that it's just like, I wouldn't wear it. I don't like it, but here it is. I wouldn't make this for myself, but I still absolutely love it and I would make it for someone else. It's the sleeves. The reason I would not wear this myself is I cannot have things like on my hands or on my wrists. I always do shorter sleeves and I like roll up my sleeves constantly. It would just not do the pattern justice to have me wearing it. This would look really cute on someone with just like incredibly long arms. The other honorable mention is the Gingerbread House Socks by Natalie Sheldon. Because I already included another Natalie Sheldon pattern in this video, I didn't want to do 2, so I'm kind of cheating and I am doing 2. I'm just putting in the honorable mentions sections so that it doesn't really count. These are so cute. Same colors, everything. Absolutely adore it. Beautiful pattern. Okay, that is truly everything. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, please, because I'm cool and because I have a crochet Christmas list coming up in a couple of days. I created this list in October and filmed it. It's November right now, and so I'm not sure if there have been any like Christmassy patterns that have come out by the time this video will come out. So we'll have to see. I'm interested. But are there any Christmassy knitting patterns that you are super into that I did not mention on this list? Or has anyone made anything that's on this list and like what'd you think? I love it when people do that because some people did that with the Halloween patterns recommendation video that I did. It was interesting getting a lot of people being like, oh, I actually made that myself and it's really well written, very beginner friendly. So I love getting that kind of feedback because I have not made most of these patterns and it's really awesome to get people with firsthand experience making these actual things because I'm just talking about them from a visual perspective. I have not read through the patterns for a lot of these, so I don't know, but a lot of these are designers that I absolutely trust or have knit other patterns from, so I feel pretty good recommending these. And when I go to recommend a pattern, I always check to make sure that other people have made it and they were able to make it pretty well, and the feedback has been generally positive because my thought is if a couple people followed the pattern and they were able to make it successfully, then how bad could the pattern really be? Anyways, that's it. Make sure you get a lot of sleep tonight. I think that's something we all need, is just a lot of sleep. That's what winter's for. It's for resting, okay? You don't have to do all the things. You don't have to decorate your house super crazy this year if you don't have the energy. You just take care of yourself. All right, goodbye.
Side